Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today's record is Tupelo Honey by Van Morrison. This was his fifth regular studio album, and it was released October 15th, 1971. This album was sort of kind of a little bit of a departure for Van in a lot of ways. He had written all the songs in Woodstock, where he had lived, right before he moved out to California. And he had started recording this album after he moved to California at the Wally Heider Studios in San Francisco. And then later he moved to the Columbia Studios. But Tupelo honey is a honey that is produced by flowers of the Tupelo tree, found in the southeast of the United States. And so there's several different genres on this album. There's a lot. This album really kind of goes more into sort of the country direction. But there, it's your typical Van mix of R&B and soul and folk rock and that sort of stuff. But the big thing about this album is that it really focuses a lot, and there's Van, on this sort of marital bliss that he was living at this time. His wife, who is featured on the cover and here as well, was a Janet Planet Rigsby. And those of you who know that name has been around. It was just it was more of a laid back affair for Van. I think he was feeling pretty happy and easygoing, and so the music reflects that. And so it doesn't have a lot of that more edgy sort of Van stuff that he's sort of known for. But the title track is almost like a church hymn. It's a beautiful little love ballad. But it also has another well-known song as listed on the hype sticker there, Wild Night, which is more of an R&B song. And those are the two main songs from this album. And Wild Night was later done by John Mellencamp. And I think Michelle, I can never say Michelle, I'm not even going to try it. Mine is a white label promo, so very lucky to have that in the collection, to play that. But it was just, more of a laid-back album, and so that's where it's taken a lot of its sort of hits from critics, is that, it wasn't Van sort of reaching for the stars. But I think you really can trace Van back to Moondance and Astral Weeks. Those two albums, I think everything that Van has done has funneled out of that. The previous album, his band and street choir, songs like Jackie Wilson Said and Domino, those songs are definitely this sort of more rollicking, maybe more in line with Brown Eyed Girl. And then, of course, this has stuff more like, the title track, Into the Mystic, and things like that. It's more of sort of the balladeer Van Morrison. And so, I take Van any way that I can get him. And yes, I will admit, in that early run of Van albums leading up to Feet on Fleece, this one is probably one of the weaker ones. But man, to be a weak album in such a great run of records, because I think that run of albums from Astral Weeks all the way through is a pretty solid run of records, and probably one of the more staggering run of original albums to come from an artist of that time period. Van Morrison from 68 to about 74 was just an incredible time period, and this album falls into that, and so it holds its own, and so to be a weak album amongst those is still saying quite a bit, and it speaks volumes for Van's talent at this time. So despite the strange, weird, creepy cover with Van in his muscle shirt walking his wife on the horse, it's really a nice album, and it's a lovely tribute to her and to his love for her. So Tupelo Honey, today's daily record. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the album was produced by Ted Templeman and Van Morrison. I just wanted to throw that out there. Of course, Ted was a longtime Warner Brothers producer, and anybody that bought any Warner Brothers records in the 70s and 80s saw Ted's name. But anyway, today's Daily Record. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's TommyBurton75. TommyBurton75. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Tell me what you think about Tupelo hunting. Thanks to everybody that watches. I love interacting with you guys. Check out my main channel. It's in the description box up there if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Daily Record.